Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy. Welcome back to another video. So, this week is going to be a very busy week for me, and I have a whole lot of stuff on my plate. Echo drops, I want to say on Tuesday, and I'm planning on watching all of those episodes and making a review of it at some point this week. I have the movie The Beekeepers coming out this Thursday, and I plan on watching that, making a movie review of it. And since Echo is coming out, I'm planning on ranking the entirety of the MCU. So I have a lot of stuff on my plate, and I kind of wanted to go back, and before I dive into a bunch of future upcoming stuff that is happening, dive into some of the past movies, talk about some of my favorite movies of all time, and basically just discuss some movies that I wish I could see again for the first time ever, because sometimes some movies have like plot twists or emotional sequences that are really like gut-wrenching and stuff like that the first time you see it, but once you know the outcome of it, it is hard to have those same feelings again. So I kind of just compiled a little list here of movies that I have seen and that I really love, that I would love to have potentially been able to see for the first time ever. Like if I could wipe my mind and go see a movie for the first time ever, these are those movies. Alrighty, so for starters, I'm gonna actually go ahead and start talking about superhero movies first. As you can see behind me, I have a Marvel wall, I have a Loki poster. I'm a huge fan of Marvel-specific movies, but also some DC movies, and those movies are gonna be on this list, and I kind of want to run through them relatively quickly, so I'm not just talking about superhero movies for the first, 20 minutes of this video, because I don't think this video should be 20 minutes long, but knowing me, I'm very passionate about movies, and specifically these movies are movies that I love, so I am probably going to ramble on a little bit. But I'm going to start off by saying the two DC movies that I wish I could see again for the first time ever. There's only two. The first one is The Dark Knight. I think that this movie is incredible. I think that the actor who plays Harvey Dent is incredible, and the way that he plays Harvey Dent and then slowly turns into Two-Face and he kind of goes corrupt is incredible, and I think that the entire foreshadowing of it is fantastic, and the way that it slowly plays out while he's turning evil is great. And then obviously you can't forget about Heath Ledger's Joker, who is just so unhinged, and a bunch of the stuff that he does being unscripted and just him thinking this is what the character would do, so he does it, is incredible. And that entire movie is fantastic. I think it is one of the most cinematically excellent superhero movies of all time, so I definitely 100% wish I could see that one again for the first time ever. And then in a similar vein, the Joker movie, in my opinion, is one of the best superhero movies of all time, and it for the longest time was my favorite movie of all time. And I think that the entire last 30 minutes of this movie are incredible. I think that watching him slowly slip into madness and watching him go insane because society kind of treats him like shit and kind of ignores him, and him basically becoming a psychopath is incredible in this. I think that the way that they use dance as a form of like imagery in this is great, because he starts off slow, controlled dancing. He knows what he's doing. He's very like careful about what he's doing. Towards the end of the movie, when he goes insane, he starts doing more crazy dancing. The sequence where he is dancing down the stairs at the end of the movie is great. And then obviously the entire talk show sequence is a phenomenal scene, and I love everything about it. Overall, I think that Todd Phillips, the Joker movie, and Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, incredible, and I'm so excited that they're making a second one. But yeah, this is definitely one that I wish I could see for the first time again. And now, Marvel movies is ones I'm going to quickly run through. I'm going to try to go a little bit faster. Avengers Endgame, I wish I could see it for the first time ever without the theatrical experience, because in my opinion, I think that is one of those movies where it's like, it did not age incredibly well. I think if you go back and you rewatch Avengers Endgame, there's a lot of parts of it that are like, wow, this is really just fan service, and it doesn't feel as good if you're just watching it casually as opposed to watching it in a theatrical setting. So I definitely wish I could see this movie for the first time sitting at my house alone on my TV or whatever, and seeing how much I still like it, because I do think it's a good movie, and I think that there's a lot of sequences that are incredible, but I also do think that it's one of those movies where it's like, because you saw it in an audience full of people who are so excited for the movie, it's almost retroactively made the movie better, especially in people's memories. I think I've gotten to a point where, like I said, I'm going to be ranking the MCU movies later this week. I don't think Avengers Endgame is one of the top 5, maybe even top 10 MCU movies. Like, obviously it is a great movie and it is an incredible feat, but if you watch the movie and you're talking about it on just a film standpoint, it's honestly very overrated. But now, next one that I want to talk about, Spider-Man No Way Home. Similar vein, getting to see the 3 Spider-Men together on screen, incredible. If I could see this one again, would want to see the extended version, because I actually still have never seen the extended version, and I don't think they ever made a Blu-ray of the extended edition. I could be completely wrong, but I am still incredibly livid about that, because I bought the Spider-Man No Way Home movie on Blu-ray when it came out, and it doesn't have like any of the special features, because they were planning on re-releasing it to theaters with the more stuff edition or whatever it's called, and makes me very upset. But overall, I think that the movie is incredible. I think that Andrew Garfield's little arc that he has in this is great. I think that seeing Tobey Maguire return is great. All of the villains returning is awesome. And if I got to see this movie without having any of that knowledge spoiled to me, I think that it would be a really, really fun time. The next one that I want to talk about, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I know this one came out last year and it's still relatively recent in everybody's mind. I cannot express how stressed I was watching this movie. There are so many different sequences where you think one of the main characters is going to die, and it's incredibly emotional. It is a wreck of a movie. If you are watching it and you are very, very attached to these characters like I am, you will feel almost every emotion possible while watching this movie. You'll feel huge sighs of relief. You will feel incredible pits in your stomach. You will cry during a lot of the sequences. It is a breathtaking movie, and by the end, it is one of the most triumphant feelings I've ever gotten in a movie, because when the Dog Days Are Over comes on and they're all dancing together, it's such a fantastic sequence, and I absolutely love it. Another movie that I want to talk about, Captain America Civil War. That is my comfort movie, and I watch it literally all the time. And I do think that it would be just incredibly fun to watch it for the first time without the knowledge that Spiderman is going to show up in it, and without the knowledge that the Black Panther is going to show up in it. I think that those characters just being there would be cool, and it would go absolutely crazy when they first show up, and you're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, Black Panther's in this. And same thing with when Spider-Man shows up in the final fight sequence. Very, very cool moment. Definitely one of the biggest moments for the MCU, and I absolutely loved it. Alrighty, so those are all the superhero movies I wanted to talk about. Obviously, there are a couple more that I probably could have included on this list, but I just are not currently thinking of. But now other movies that I want to talk about, The Perks of Being a Wallflower. This is another one of those ones where it's an incredibly emotional movie, but once you go through it and you've seen it for the first time, it is hard to get those same emotional feelings throughout it. And I think that this movie is just such a great job of showing how it feels to be lonely as a teenager and feel like you don't fit in with literally anybody, and being kind of like the oddball out in every group scenario you're ever in. And I think that Logan Lerman's performance in this is absolutely incredible for a young actor, and everything about Perks of Being a Wallflower is just such a great movie. There are sequences in it that will make you feel like, this kid's on the top of the world, and then there are moments that'll make you feel like his entire world is crumbling down. And sequences like the scenes that he has with Paul Rudd's, the teacher's character, and being like, why do people accept love from terrible people and stuff like that? And then Paul Rudd has his quote about people accept the love that they think they deserve. And it's such an emotional movie. And once again, if I could see this one for the first time ever, I would probably be crying a lot throughout the movie. And now to go on to a more positive note, I would also love to see The Princess Bride for the first time ever. This was one of the most magical movies I ever watched as a kid. I love the entire storybook trope of it, how it's the grandfather actually just telling the bedtime story to his kid, and there being fantasy in it, there being romance in it, there's a lot of comedy in it. I love the whole inconceivable guy, he's absolutely hilarious. There's a lot of really cool sword fight sequences, and overall I just think that this movie is one of the best fantasy movies of all time, and I absolutely love it for that. One of my favorite movies of all time is the movie Baby Driver, and I absolutely love that movie, and I feel like that movie is still a really good movie to rewatch because the main actor is absolutely fantastic in it, and some of the stuff with the music cues and how he can perfectly play into the music cues are fantastic, but a lot of the tension is kind of taken out of it if you're watching it for a second or third time, because a lot of the thing that makes the movie as fun the first time you watch it is not knowing which one of the bad guys is going to potentially cause a threat to Baby, and not knowing when Baby is kind of going to snap and kind of do some not necessarily evil things, but the sequence where he's parked behind a truck that has the stuff sticking out of it or whatever, and the guy who's been a dick to him the entire time sits in the passenger seat, and he drives full speed into it and kills the guy. Watching that for the first time ever would be insane. Okay, a couple more. We have A Glass Onion. I feel like any murder mystery would probably be fun to rewatch for the first time ever, but A Glass Onion specifically, I watched it the other day, and I'm like, I remember when I first watched it, I just kind of threw it on to throw it on because it was a big popular movie at the time, but I really wish I sat down and actually treated it like a murder mystery and I tried to guess what all was going to happen in the movie, because I think it's a fun movie, and I think that they give you all the clues that you need to potentially solve the puzzle, and it's just such a fun movie. I think that the Knives Out movies are incredibly fun, and this one being kind of a more campy version of the original Knives Out movie, it's just fantastic. And I think that all the actors and actresses have a whole lot of fun with this movie, and Janelle Monáe's performance in this is so much fun. And then one of the last ones that I have that I want to talk about is Catching Fire. I think that as somebody who's never read the books, watching this movie for the first time, there were a lot of sequences that really shocked me. I think that the entire introduction of Finnick's character is fantastic in this, and I love all of the new tributes that we're getting introduced in this. I think are all fantastic, and I really like the fact that we are getting to see what's it called? Peter Millark has kind of figured out how the game works and how to kind of like survive the capital and kind of like be a spectacle in a sense. And everything about him being such a sassy person in this movie is so much fun. I love the arena in this movie, and I think that the entire ending with them kind of figuring out how to make the arena work for them and destroy the arena and just sparking such a huge rebellion in this movie is fantastic. In my opinion, it is the best of the 5 Hunger Games movies that we have, and I really wish I could see it again for the first time ever. But now, with that being said, I've got 2 last movies that I'm going to talk about, potentially a third one. Actually, yeah, I'm just going to say this third one first because this wasn't originally on my list, but now that I'm thinking about animated movies, it's up there. The Wreck-It Ralph movie. The original Wreck-It Ralph movie is incredibly emotional, and the way that they build this story around a guy who is forced to be a villain who doesn't want to be the villain anymore and kind of feels like alone in this group of people who he's been with for 30 plus years is really, really fun, and I love his entire character journey. And then the twist with the villain being Turbo, like King Candy being Turbo, is such a sick twist, and I think that it's one of the best twists like ever in the history of movies. And speaking of twist, also The Incredibles, I think that everything with Syndrome in that movie is fun and fantastic, and I think that all the action sequences and everything like that, really, really cool. Would love to see that one again for the first time. But now the 2 other ones that I was going to mention on the same vein as Pixar, Cars 3. Growing up, the Cars trilogy was one of my, the Cars franchise was one of my favorite things ever. I was a huge fan of NASCAR growing up, so I would go and see the races and stuff like that. And the Cars movies were just so special to me. I loved the first Cars movie. I've watched it probably 173 times. All of them, Mater's Tall Tales or whatever, are fantastic and stuff like that. And seeing Cars 3 being such a solid trilogy that completes the arc for Lightning McQueen was incredibly emotional for me, and there were multiple times that I cried throughout that movie, and I think that being able to see it for the first time again and having those emotional moments would be really nice. And then the last one to finally kick this off, I have the movie Coco. Once again, incredibly emotional movie. I think that there's a lot of very touching elements of family and what it means to love your family. The twist with him thinking that his his grandfather is like Victor de la Cruz or whatever, and then realizing it's not, is so much fun. And once again, just seeing that for the first time would be fantastic. But yeah, that being said, that was all my options for movies that I would like to see for the first time ever again. A lot of really iconic movies and a lot of my favorite movies of all time. And yeah, that was it for my list. If you guys have some movies that you guys really wish you could see for the first time ever that I didn't mention, feel free to comment them down below. I love discussing movies. And that being said, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming by and checking it out. I love and appreciate you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bow. Bow. Bow.
He wanted me to go, but first I did this. We planned a day, and then we did this. Want to be in love with the girls with the kisses. Don't give a damn, I'll rid this. I like this when I run the distance. I run the 5K, you go ballistics. I want to live within the business. Buying more than what's on the clearances. You're getting big because I know you're a physicist. I want to deny this shit, I'm unlimited.